Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good. As soon as I get on, they want to boot me off. It's a warm welcome. It's well, shoot. I got to be patient here. Oh, trying to adjust my screen here. Okay. You have reached a live podcast. It is How to Fight CPS with me, your host, Bob Pace. And you just heard from my attorney, Vincent Davis, talk about what he's doing with his school and with the many podcasts that he does. He does a lot of stuff for free. And I have some stuff that he could do for you. But he's a real deal. He's a juvenile family dependency attorney. Those are very important words. Juvenile, family, and dependency. They all go hand in hand. You're fighting an organization, which I call the child protection system because I want to include all the different names of CPS throughout the world and throughout the country. This is a worldwide podcast. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. You're in my room, and there are 7 other rooms that feed into this room. There's a YouTube room, and then there are 7 Facebook rooms. But it's all into one here. So when you're here, no matter what room you're in, you're interacting with me. Now, when I mentioned worldwide, it seems like we have now, besides Bangladesh and India and several countries in the Middle East, we have 6 countries in Africa, and then up in Europe, we got another 8 countries there across the pond. We got 3 countries, Canada, the United States, and I've talked to all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., Mexico, and then Grenada and South America. And then over in the Pacific, it's been Australia and New Zealand. And it's all been a very good rapport with everybody because everybody comes in here to help one another. I never saw such an outpouring yesterday, on the 2nd of January of how many people were helping. We had Tessa and Betty and Margaret. We had some new guys, Carlos and Henry, and from new places and so forth. This is a room where we all meet and help one another work out our CPS cases. It's a terrible thing, this CPS is, because it's become so corrupt. It's all about money. They make trillions of dollars per year off having kids in foster care and adopted. And there's been a lot of things that have hurt CPS, and that's the sad part. CPS, I call, as a child protection system in every state or any country, the counties and so forth. Like in Arizona, it's DCS, that's Department of Children's Services. In California, it's CPS in Orange County, Child Protection Services. But you go next door to you go next door to LA County, it's Department of Children and Family Services. It's very confusing. So I just use CPS because everybody knows what CPS is. So that's what I do. Now, I had some news here about my podcaster. I assume that she's doing better. I have not yet to talk to her yet. She was taken in the hospital yesterday, and I had to do my own podcast. I had to create my morning show and evening show, and it took me a little bit of time. But apparently my shows were made for me this morning, and so I come on, and I'm happy that they're made. I assume that she did it, and so she must be feeling a little bit better or whatever the case is, but I'm praying for my show producer, Grace, to get better. She works hard behind the scenes, keeping my show going and so forth. Now, Vincent Davis, I want to give him many thanks for what he does. He is a professional attorney. He's been practicing fighting CPS for 39 years, and he's well-schooled in juvenile family dependency law. And he is also a trial attorney. In fact, he has also done some lawsuits, and these were violations of your civil or constitutional rights against CPS, and won millions of dollars from CPS. I had a case where my social worker committed perjury, and it's a great case to sue on, but I couldn't afford the retainer to sue that social worker. So keep in mind, if you want to do lawsuits, Vincent Davis, the man, your case has got to be over before the lawsuit is filed. And there's a statute of limitations, so you got to be careful there. Law is a tricky thing. That's why you need an attorney. My rule number one has been get yourself an attorney. And there are several kinds of attorneys out there, and I'm afraid a lot of you are using what's called a public defender or a court-appointed attorney. These attorneys are not trained in juvenile family dependency law. They're really new attorneys. They only know about criminal law, and they work for social services. They work for CPS. And furthermore, they're so loaded with cases, like 30 or more, they don't have time to fight for your case. They're looking for the easy way out. They're going to go along with the flow. And heaven forbid if you use one of those, because your case will not win, or so forth. Now, I know yesterday I had a report from Tessa that on January 2nd, they had a court appearance and it went well. And they said, because of my advice and also a chance to talk to Mr. Davis, they're successful in maybe getting their kids back. She had a seizure, and her husband stepped in to help her, but the neighbor watching through the window thought he was hurting her, called CPS or called the police, 911. They sent out CPS. They took their children. What he was doing was the methods prescribed for people with seizures. So she has subpoenaed. Her court-appointed attorney was really upset because she said that she would sue him or her if he didn't subpoena the following witnesses. So you got to make those court-appointed attorneys work for you. You can do the research, but they got to work for you. If you don't, fire them. Get another court-appointed attorney, or get a real attorney. Get a real attorney like Mr. Davis. That will help win your case. Now, I've talked for a brief moment. I want to see if we got anybody in the room yet. And I don't see anybody yet, but I know that they're coming in. Today is Friday, January 3rd, And I'm broadcasting live from Surf City, USA. And I'm 3 blocks from the beach. And it's an overcast, dreary day here in sunny California. But my attorney that worked for Vincent W. Davis is in Arcadia, which is inland south of Los Angeles. And he has cases in Riverside, San Bernardino County, as well as LA County and Orange County. Further, he has cases up in Northern California, and he has a state case in Oklahoma. So he works around the clock and he helps everybody. He does a lot of podcasts. His ad, which will broadcast again at the end of my show, is about his school and about his Saturday broadcast at 10:30, where he has questions and answers. Also, he has office hours during the week, too. So join their school so you know when all these podcasts are taking place, and register for these podcasts because they're well worth your time to help fight. He knows the strategies. He knows how to navigate CPS. He was my attorney. I had 3 of my 6 children stolen from me by Child Protection System. It was the Orange County Child Protection Services that had taken my children that weren't in danger and put them into further danger in the foster care shelter. They were in danger there, and then they were later placed with relatives, which is the thing you need to do. You need to ask anytime you get involved. The first thing you need to do is get an attorney. And after you get an attorney, you have to talk about a settlement conference. Now, I don't know if that's mandatory in California. I know in Michigan they have a settlement conference. But what it is you meet with the social workers and you define a plan to get your children back. It doesn't have to go to your first court hearing, your dependency hearing. You don't need to go there. So if they could settle it beforehand, you'd be a lot better off. So ask for that settlement conference. I'm trying to institute something new, and every CPS agency is a settlement conference. It's something that would be beneficial to both parties. It will save money, and it will get your case over, and you'll have a better understanding. You need to work together, CPS. CPS, if you're listening, you got to work with the families. Now, I agree. There are over 1,000 cases per day that go unreported that should be reported. I know that abuse of children through neglect or physical abuse is bad. I know it is. I know the cases in there. But that doesn't mean you give you a license to get the good parents who are struggling with no job or no money or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's ridiculous, some of the stories that I've heard, how families do not know how to fight CPS. So, anyway, I hope you all are listening out there, and I hope you're taking notes in my room. Now, let me put up some messages. The lower message that's running as a ticket is if you want to talk to Mr. Davis for 30 minutes, I have a special arrangement. He only will charge you $60. That's 30 minutes for $60. All you have to do is go to the website at the bottom of that screen, register, pay your credit card fee, and then you will be able to talk to him, a Zoom private meeting with him for 30 minutes. And it's only $60. So that's one way you can. And I'll stay on for the length of my show. Also, besides being in this room taking notes, you can also do emojis, such as smiley faces, thumbs up, or hearts. You can also send me stars. And if you want to follow me, click the notification button. Also, you can click the other button, which is to notify you when I'm on. There's one by joining my podcast, and the one is called the notification, which tells you when I'm on. because I really feel you'll learn something in here no matter how many times you listen. I do this twice a day. I've been doing this twice a day since October of 23. That's a long time, over a year. I've talked to over 800, close to 900 people in all 50 states, and including Washington, D.C., which is not a state, and 20 countries. So it is a good thing because we're here to help each other. And so I want you all to ask me questions. And one of the ways you can do that or make comments is to text me a message about a question or a comment about CPS. We're in here to talk about CPS. And please show me your first name and the city or county your case was in. And then your state. Now, if you're from another country, please show me your country as well as your state or province. And the other things too, the city or your first name, all that. So I'm open up to everybody there. Please try to be complete as you can about your CPS case when you send the message in. I need to know, if I can, as much information as I can, because I don't want to play ping pong ball. I enjoy it, but going back and forth does take time in the room and so forth. Now, another way that you can interact with this podcast is to be a guest on my show. And all you have to do is pick one of my 14 shows. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I come on at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the morning for 1 hour, and then I come on at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. Now, on Saturday and Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's the only difference there. But I'm on every day, including holidays. I've spent my New Year's Day, my New Year's Eve, my Christmas Day, my Christmas Eve with all of you. So I'm on, all 365 days, twice a day. So that's a lot of podcasts. In 1 year, it's over 800 some podcasts. You do 14 times 12 months. So it is like that. Now, to be the guest, all you have to do is write to my show producer. Her name is Grace at VincentWDavis.com. That's Grace at VincentWDavis.com. Tell her what show you want to be on. You want to be on Bob's Saturday show, Wednesday show, Monday show. I want to be on his morning show or evening show. It's that simple. And then she'll arrange it to be a guest of my podcast. And you can talk and help others like I do. But keep in mind that if you are a guest on my podcast live talking and you do the same thing on the phone, you're entitled to a free 15-minute Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis. That's a Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis. And he'll talk to you for 15 minutes for free in a private Zoom call. So that is important to know. So that's how you you get some free time with Mr. Davis. You have the written time, and then you have the what you mean by that is that you have the 15-minute free session. You have to qualify for that. And then you have the 30-minute for $60. 30 minutes for $60. Now that number, 888-888-6582, you can call in and retain Mr. Davis. That's the office. You can leave a message for me there if you like. Anyway, when you do call in, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. Now I'm trying to find out about this new guide that Mr. Davis has produced. Let me get to that then. Now, this new guide is available for purchase. And what this guide is about is how to gain custody of your children in California. It is how to exercise your rights as a grandparent. Yes, grandparents do have rights. You want to protect your family and keep your grandchildren safe. So the question remains, are your grandchildren involved in a CPS case in California? Do not lose hope. There's a way to fight for their custody, ensure they stay with the family. The guide that I prepared will show you exactly how to navigate the juvenile dependency problem step by step. What you will learn is your legal rights as a grandparent under California law. You'll learn how to request custody through CPS and the court system. There are key statutes, court rules, and case laws you need to know. Also, there's tips to demonstrate your home is in the best place for your grandchildren. Now, why hiring an experienced attorney can make all the difference. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You need a juvenile family dependency law attorney with lots of experience fighting CPS. Now, some steps to gain custody of your children. 1, you have to overcome your challenges. 2, there are legal tools you can use. Now, some questions and answers. You can let Vincent Davis guide you with over 39 years of experience. He has helped countless grandparents reunite with their children. Why choose Mr. Vincent Davis? Expertise in juvenile dependency law, family law. Personalized guidance every step of the way. That's important. A proven track record of success. So you need to call 888-888-6582 for a consultation and start your attorney to protect your grandchildren. Now, some questions have come up. Can I get custody if I live out of state? Yes, California courts can place children with out-of-state relatives through the ICPC process. The ICPC is an organization that protects and transfers children from state to state. What if my grandchildren are already in foster care? You can still file to be for custody. The court will evaluate whether your home is in the child's best interest. What if CPS hasn't considered me? You can file a motion with the court to review the decision. It's called a 388 motion. Don't delay. Get help now. Now, you're not a law. The law prioritizes family placement. It's real important to hear that. It's family placement because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents. It's very important that you take action today because your family is not together. Let's fight for what matters most, your grandchildren. And all you need to do is contact Attorney Davis at 888-6582. And that will be the first step to take the first step. Okay. Your family future starts here. Do not wait. Now, this guide is $9.99, but with a discount for me, all you need to do is give them the discount. It's capital P, capital A, capital C, capital E, and that's 50, the number 50 after me. It's PACE 50. It's PACE 50. That'll reduce it down to $5 for that guide. So there's some help to grandchildren right now. There's some help to grandchildren. I'm glad that I can do that. Now, many of you have become regulars in my room, and I welcome you all. It's like a family here. We help one another. We had a success case with Tessa in Shasta County, California. So happy for her. We've had a good interview with Betty, who is a foster care parent who gives an insight about foster care. She is also trying to get her niece back, her brother child back from the environment she is in. She's not being well protected. Now, my last thing I'm going to do is put my phone number up. That's 562-307-5617. My regular phone number, my office number, is not working yet. That's phonage. As soon as I get that on, I'll work on it. But I can only take calls during my podcast. If you call me before my podcast or after my podcast, I can't talk to you. You can only talk to me during my show time hours. So I encourage you to ask the questions to help you. I can only second guess you. Now, I have 5 rules. The first rule I talked about was getting an attorney, a real attorney. To get an attorney, you just need to call around. You need to go on the internet, put in the city and state, put the letters CPS after that, and then you want to put in a juvenile family dependency lawyer who has fought CPS. And then some names will pop up. When you interview them, you need to talk to as much as you can, feel the chemistry between you two, but also keep in mind that this is a serious business. I mean, a serious matter. And you need to do it as soon as you can. You need to do it as soon as you can. Time is really important. So, with that being said, I want to really help you because there are things that I experience now. My 5 rules are such: hire an attorney, a real attorney, and make the phone call and the questions. After you ask them if they are a juvenile family dependency attorney who's fought CPS and got the children back, if the answer is yes, the next question you ask them: have you ever did a lawsuit after the case was closed? And won money back. Now, Vincent Davis has done that, but there are other attorneys that do that too. So those are important. They should be a family juvenile dependency attorney, and they should be open to now rule number the second question, ask them if they ever have sued CPS and won money back, either in state court or federal court. Those are the 2 arenas. If the answer is right to both those questions, meet with them. Talk to at least 3 attorneys. Get the chemistry between the attorneys. But I highly recommend you talk to Mr. Davis. He's the real thing. And, there's several ways you can talk to him. You can talk to him for free for 15 minutes. All you need to do is come on my show as a guest or call in on my phone number. Now, rule number 2 is to organize your paperwork into a notebook, 3-ring notebook. Have a subject divider, stuff it full of notebook papers. An important page of that is the time log of incidents. You start off with the time, the date, the location, the people involved on the first line. On the second line, you put a summary it's about. And on the third line, you put what was the outcome of the incident. Those are all important to you. So I strongly recommend that you do so because it'll make your life a lot better. It'll make your life a lot better. Now, rule number 3 is to say no to social workers. Do not get involved with them. Do not talk to them unless you have an attorney present. You need to get a hold of your attorney if you are contacted by CPS. Tell them very nicely that you like to talk, but you need your attorney present, depending on the Department of Family Services. Also, after that summary of your incident, you want to put a third line and put the outcome of the incident. You keep doing that for each incident. Also, if you meet the social workers outside, tell them that you want to have your attorney present and do not meet at your home or their office. Try a neutral place like Starbucks or McDonald's, some place where you have privacy and you can talk to them. You don't want them to see your home because maybe some things you don't want to have them see. Also, going to their office can be very bad, time consuming. So that's what I recommend you do. A lot of you do not know how CPS operates and so forth. So I talk from experience. Now, if you're outside talking to them very nicely, say, I will get back to you. I need your number. If they are a social worker, check their badge. Make sure it's the correct name. Also, if it's a police officer, make sure you get their badge number. And you want to meet with them. Now, you're not going to meet with the police. The police are only used by CPS as intimidation factor against the parents. They get them into your home and steal your child. Your child can only be taken by a warrant. That is a declaration asked by a person who wants to do it, a judge requested. Now, another form of trafficking you got to be worried about, besides foster care trafficking, is medical trafficking. That's where a parent, is taking their child because of emergency, high temperature or something. They go to urgent care at daytime, or they go to the emergency room at the hospital at nighttime. They want something addressed. Be careful because social workers work at the hospital now, and they will try to take away your child. It's really bad what they do. So do not discuss or talk anything with them. You don't want them to be used against you. That part is important there. Now, I had a couple people come in, but then they kind of left. So I don't know if this is a long day or you guys have something else that you're participating. But as I look back, I got a lot of beautiful people that have come in here. I have Faye Manley from Richmond, Kentucky, a single mother who's been in and out of foster care 5 times. And she's been raped and molested and sex trafficking, all through her teenage years. But she's a remarkable woman. She still has her faith and still helps me. So they hang out. And if they hear something, they'll misunderstand you and try to take your child. Do not give them your child. All you need to do is thank them and tell them that your attorney will contact them. Get their number. Furthermore, you got to be careful if you're pregnant and having a child because they'll tendency to want to take your child from you. Don't let that happen. Make sure you have a list a mile long that keeps anybody from coming in to the podcast. So enough said on medical trafficking. They'll strong arm you with the police, but do not surrender your child. Now, the fourth way is on the internet. You want to make sure that you create your question constructively. You want to start off with the city, comma, the city, comma, or the country. I don't know where you guys all from. I know where most of you guys that have been on my show are from. But I want to help you. I want to help you so much. It's hard twice a day, but I've heard back from you guys, and you guys are getting your children back. So I know what I'm talking about does work. I'm not an attorney. I'm a family man. I'm a loving father and a husband. I have over 41 years of marriage experience. I have over 6 children that I've raised. Now, this rule number 4 is when you search the internet, it's very important to paraphrase your words, your search words. You start off with the city or state. Now, if you're in a small state, then use the next biggest state. So, for instance, you may say, now, after the state, you want to put the letters CPS, and you'll see so much stuff popped up. If you want to refine your search, put down the handbook of CPS or a 388 motion or what is ICWA. All that'll be answered for you. You have to, and you got to spend at least 60, 70 hours researching all about the case, all about your adversaries, all about how CPS is in that particular county, the good and the bad. And that's really important. That's really important there. Now, well, we have one person in the looks like it's in the room. They're in the room, yeah. So I do have listeners. I have other listeners that don't show up. They're in here. So again, I warmly welcome you. We're talking about my rules, and then this rule number 4 is the research. You want to learn so much about CPS. And lastly is the note. Lastly is the number that you get additional hope on. And spend a good 60 hours. Welcome, Tessa. I'm so glad you're here. You're a little bit late, but that's okay. I have another 20 minutes more of my podcast. I started late, but I do have my rooms being created again. I think my show producer is a little bit better. I don't know if she's still in the hospital or not. She's not responded to me, but I keep praying for her well-being. But my shows were created this morning when it came on. Now, by the way, my code for that handbook is PACE, P-A-C-E, all capitalized, the number 50. It's PACE, capital P, capital A, capital C, capital E, 50% discount on that guide I talked about for grandparents getting their grandchildren back. Okay. Now, the last rule I have is to make copies of all your documents. And what I mean by documents, I mean like your children's birth certificate, social security card, your birth certificate, your marriage license, your driver's license, the kids' grade reports, the kids' shot records, any medical records. And then you should also have yourself. And put that into a folder envelope and carry it with your notebook. It's important to have that documentation because it seems apparently the father's always listed that they could be the father, but they're not guaranteed. You got to make sure you get the guarantee on that. So anyway, you make those documents, stuff in an envelope, and hang it with your notebook. Now, I've talked about my 5 rules, and I hope you follow them. They're recorded. My podcasts are all recorded, so you never miss anything. Now, Tessa, I talked about your case this morning. And again, congratulations on a job well done yesterday in court. Tessa's the one that has a positive time in court. It was very, very positive. And she shared it me with her husband, Geraldo, or I forgot his name already. But anyway, I want to thank you all. Now, I have about 7 more minutes left. I know that it's after 11 o'clock. I'm going a little bit later to make up the lost time. And so I'm going a little bit later there, so you get a full hour of me. I never wanted to deprive you of that. I try to give so much to you. And I try to share my case and what worked for me. And it is hard where you're at fighting CPS. I don't envy your situation. I've been there. I know the feeling. If I knew what I knew now, I never would have a CPS case. Your children do not need to be taken from your home unless they're in imminent danger. That seems to be a habit that CPS does, always taking away the child. So anyway, you don't have to do that. Furthermore, studies have found that family reunification is the best way to do it. Biological parents are the best parents to raise children. So if there's a mistake by a parent, if they need to take the child from you, there should be a program you can take, parenting classes or programs to address whatever that CPS was concerned about. A lot of times it's false accusations. I know that. And I'm not asking you to admit something you didn't do. You make sure you do not do that. You have to be honest. They're not going to be honest. They're going to take advantage of you. Mm. Ugh. So, Tessa, do you have any questions for me? Tessa, do you have any questions for me? Give her a moment to see if she has any questions. Okay, Tessa, guess you're kind of busy. I was hoping you had a question or two here. Okay, I have about 10 minutes left of my podcast. Time for a quick call for anybody that would like to talk about anything. I've talked about my rules. I've talked about the new guide that Vincent has put out. I've also talked about how they react to this podcast. You know, it's really important that you, at the beginning of your case, that you are completely involved. Now, you have to understand CPS is corrupt. My children, my case was bad. I am a married father. I'm not an attorney. And I've been fighting CPS for 15 years. 3 years is when they took my children and I got them back, except one. And the sad thing about CPS workers are they're very vendetted. She wanted to retaliate because in court, she committed perjury. She lied on the stand and Vincent Davis caught her. And she was so embarrassed. But she took a revenge on us parents. She encouraged her child, who was 12 at the time, to emancipate from the parents, to change her name completely, to seal her birth certificate, to be adopted with a new birth certificate by foster care and to get a second Social Security card, which was illegal because she was collecting twice. So I'm saying is that you got to be, it was insane for me because they do retaliate. I'm telling you, CPS in Orange County is bad. Now, I know there may be good organizations or good people. I've met 4 of them so far. 4 of them I met on here, and they have talked. And I wish they'd come on again. There is a need for CPS, but there is not a need for corruption or greed. It's greed and money that possessions CPS. They act that way towards the kids. They take advantage of you guys because you don't know about CPS or how to deal with them. You're probably lost a job or you're homeless or you have low income. And I've been there. I know that. I've been homeless myself. I've lived in my car, which was a stupid car. I lived in an RX-7 for some time. And you don't tell me that was bad. In fact, I was rushed to the hospital because after a long period of time, I have to have vertically lay down because your body can't be up all the time. So I do not recommend living in an RX-7. It is very difficult. It's very, very, very difficult. But I've done that. I lost my job in 2010 through no fault of my own. I had harassment from lay people. They're my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, sister, 3 sisters, and 1 brother, all called in once a week for 5 years, saying things that were not true about us and our family. They've never been supportive of us, and that's the sad part about in-laws. They didn't come to our wedding, or even her sister who was living in California would come to the wedding. It was ridiculous. It was sad. It was so sad. And if I knew what I knew now, I would never have had them take my 3 kids. I did get my 2 boys back and they live with me. But it's really sad what lay people can do. If a person doesn't like the way your yard is encroaching their yard, they'll make up a story and call CPS on you. Or if your dog's barking too loud, they'll call CPS on you. There's certain people that love to be troublemakers. I mean, I have a saying. Never judge a person until you've walked in their moccasins. It's an old Indian saying. But you don't want to judge people until you've walked in their shoes, their moccasins. That tells you a lot of stories out there. So that was a case of a really rogue CPS social worker. Another one was the Pink Ladies in Prescott, Arizona. They decided to get t-shirts, pink t-shirts, and have stenciled on the front, child professional kidnappers. Child professional kidnappers. And on the back they said, parents, you know where your children are at. That was directed to parents. Parents in Prescott, Arizona did not like that. They paraded in Costco, Kmart, Walmart. So that was wrong. That was wrong. They were caught and they were fired right away, as well as the director. So I left with 1 person to handle all the phone calls and all the problems with CPS in Prescott, Arizona. So I'm telling you, is that these workers are not to be trusted. They're certainly not to be trusted. And I know where you're at, and I have ideas that can help you and so forth. Now, it's been a long morning for me. Hopefully, I'll get my computer fixed. I'm still working on it. It has problems with the keyboards. That's where I narrowed it down to. And I use auxiliary keyboard, but it still doesn't seem to go away. So I want to thank you all for listening and for joining my podcast and for allowing to be my family, because I come here because I cry and hurt for you. I've been there. I know there. I want to do something to help people. I want to help people. That's why I do this, is I want to help people and help you avoid a very terrible entity that does no good to families. And I'm sorry to say that to CPS, but prove me wrong by being on my show. I challenge any of you to prove me wrong by being on my show. I'd love to have you as a guest or call in and tell me about how you perceive CPS and how your cases are handled. I've had several people do that, and I love to have that person. So, with that being said, I want to thank Tessa for texting me and coming into my room and saying hi. I want to thank all the listeners that are silently watching me from behind the screen, and that is really good. So I do want you all to know that I care about you. I want to look forward to you tonight to come on at 7 o'clock tonight. But please do not stop to fight for your case. Listen to what Mr. Davis has said. Listen to what I've said. There's another person missing, G. You should listen. And there's also KK Richardson in Brooklyn, New York. There's a lot of people that are trying to give advice. There's a lot going on. Join the school. Now, Vincent will come on again and briefly talk about it and talk about other things. So listen carefully. And God bless you all, and I'll see you tonight. This is Bob Pace signing off.